and then you step up into different things.
Cycling in London is not child's play. How to be a better cyclist. Listen to my show, only on Relaks Radio. I'm Kevin. Join me every Thursday, 5 p.m. Look forward to seeing you.
Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio. Super excited to be here on this beautiful Tuesday morning because obviously, we have a lot to be sharing or, sharing with each other, or we have a lot to be discussing or talking about. All right. So that's why I'm excited to be here because, like I said, we have so many different things that are happening in the world and in the United Kingdom as well that we can have a conversation about. So thank you for tuning into Relax Radio because it's your girl Sarah on the sunrise, and I'm here to keep you company all the way until 9 a.m. right? And I'm gonna have a lot of interesting conversation with you. So don't forget to share your thoughts, share your opinions, and get into the conversation with me. All right. Now you can actually text me on 078 share your thoughts, share your opinions. Let me know what you are thinking about how exactly lockdown, or let me know what you think about lockdown being lifted in Scotland. If you live in Scotland, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think they did the right thing? Do you think that maybe they should have waited a bit more and seen how the situation was? I mean, let me know what you're thinking. All right, because you can text me and call me, and everyone else is listening in as well would love to hear your thoughts and your opinions on this because it's obviously very very important to share your thoughts and opinions with us. All right, don't forget to do that. Now obviously something else that you can do is to go like us on our socials. You can, or rather follow us on our socials. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, so don't forget to do that. And you can actually download the app as well, which is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. That way you can actually make sure that you're always informed about the very latest that happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the entire world as well. And you're joining into the conversation, you're tuned into the conversation all the time. All right. Especially, since lockdown is lifted and you're going to meet your friend and you want to sound very politically correct, or you want to sound woke, well, then the way for you to do that is by tuning into Relax Radio, because we have conversations about anything, right? And when I say anything, I mean like anything and everything. So don't forget to do that. Now let's actually talk a little bit about how have people reacted to lockdown being lifted, right? What have people said? Are they okay with it? Are they happy about it? What's with all of that? All right. But actually, before I head into that conversation, before I head into all of that, I want to very quickly talk about the new rules, or the new requirements that are sort of in place to make sure that even though all of these restrictions are lifted, that we're still thinking about our safety. We're still thinking about everyone else's safety, and we're prioritizing safety. All right, because even though all of these places, restaurants, whatever it is, venues, different venues are open, you can go, you can meet your friends and everything, as long as you wear your masks in public settings, right? And the 2 meter distancing rule will also remain in healthcare settings such as hospitals, doctor surgeries, and even dentists. All right, so it's important to keep that in mind, because the Scottish government is also continuing to advise people to work from home where possible. So essentially what they're suggesting is a hybrid system. Try to work from home as much as possible, and if you really have to go to office, well, go to office, but try to make sure you work from home as much as possible. All right. And Ms. Sturgeon also said that they're trying to take a gradual approach to returning to offices, and that that is the sort of approach that should continue as well. And employers rather, actually being encouraged to consider this hybrid model. All right. And in terms of people's reactions and in terms of how exactly that is working out now, under the revised rules, fully vaccinated adults and all children are actually able to avoid self isolation if they come into close contact with someone with the virus. As long as they test negative, right? I mean, obviously, you don't have to isolate yourself if you test negative. Okay. However, if you test positive, then obviously, you have to self isolate and make sure that you don't spread the disease and you don't put other people at risk as well. Okay. And what they're trying to do through this, what they're trying to achieve through this actually is to make sure that classes or school in general will not have to shut down, because obviously in the past few months, the past few, over 18 months, schools have constantly been opening and closing, right? And it's obviously with all of the uncertainty that is there with regard to the virus, and to make sure that this sort of uncertainty actually doesn't exist, that is actually why people are making sure, or people are trying to, or rather the government is trying to make sure that they're taking the necessary steps to make sure that children can still continue going to school in case someone tests positive for COVID, right? So if an infection is discovered in case, in a school or whatnot, what they actually are going to do is that children and adults who were in close contact with the person who tested positive, and if there are any other children and adults who have higher risks of being affected by COVID-19, they will actually be isolating. All right. And pupils and teachers will also have to continue wearing masks indoors for up to 6 weeks after they return to schools, rather, right? And nightclubs were, even though nightclubs are open, they were in fact one of the last, among the last venues to be allowed to reopen on in Scotland yesterday, because that was way, way, way long after bars were actually allowed to welcome back customers, right? Now, in terms of all of these customers and whether they and how they felt about lockdown, a lot of people were actually very excited about being able to go to clubs, being able to get back to how their lives were, right? Now make sure you stay tuned to find out more, because we will be having more of this conversation, but obviously you've got to make sure you are tuned in. All right, because we're going to be heading into a small break now, and after that we will be back to be sharing more about this, so make sure you stay tuned
again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, "You've had one to forget," God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, has how much it's changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no, if that makes sense. They can't
accept rejection, essentially, is all you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Or you didn't do very well, and they get upset. And when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young. Well, I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, I'd say to me, "You had one to forget."
That's it. Your dad sounds like a smart guy. I mean, yeah, that's the real fact of the matter, yeah.
He'd say to me, "You had one to forget. Get over it." And that was it. So I'd dust myself down and do it again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, "You've had one to forget," God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son. Or daughter. I've just told them that they need to buck their ideas up.
That's the truth right there. I mean, if you think about it, if you check the generations, like right now in the US as well, I've seen a lot of these things as well. In the UK, you get medals for participation. But what's the point? What are you trying to? Yeah, what's the point? Either you win or you lose. People are so afraid to put that whole notion of losing. When it comes to right now, the generation gap is just crazy. How much a lot has changed. Social media has taken control of our lives, and we don't even realize it anymore. We're crippled because of it.
That's absolutely right, Nick. Because, as you said, nowadays it seems that you get rewarded for failure. You know, for the life of me, Nick, I can't get my head around that. Perhaps I'm just getting old and morbid, I don't know. I just can't get my head around how you could be rewarded for failure.
Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio. Super, super excited to be here because we're having a very interesting and important, interesting and important conversation with regard to what is happening in Scotland. All right. Now, yesterday, all the restrictions were lifted, and that meant like people could, go back to doing the things that they used to do, right? And a lot of people were excited for that. So that's why we're talking about the reaction that people had with regard to everything that happened. Were they excited? What exactly happened with that? And why they were actually excited rather to go ahead and go and live their best life, right? Because obviously they've had to sacrifice the past 18 months or 19 months of their life to the pandemic. All right. So that's what we are talking about right now. Now, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that. All you need to do is just WhatsApp us on 078 text us, call us, share your thoughts, share your opinions, because we would love to hear whatever it is that you have to say with regard to what is going on. All right. So don't forget to do that. And don't forget to go follow us on our socials either. Now, if you go like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, you can actually make sure that you're always informed about the very latest. You're always informed about what is going on in the United Kingdom and, in fact, all over the entire world as well. So don't forget to do that. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Okay, now you can go download our app too, which is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. That way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and you can tune into the conversation live as well. And it doesn't matter like where you are, if you're say if you're on the way to meet your friend, or you're just going out on a run or a jog, you can still listen to us on the app. So don't forget to do that, because it's available for free, and honestly I don't think it can get any better than that. All right, now let's actually quickly head back into our conversation, because we still have a little bit left to talk about. How did people react? What were their reactions? Right now, from midnight last night, obviously partygoers actually returned to clubs because they opened their doors for the first time in 506 days. Okay, and they actually vowed to be out every night. And now in Glasgow, dancers actually took to the floor at the Boteco do Brasil club, where people were dancing and enjoying themselves and having fun. So Martin Stewart, who's actually from the city, was actually among the crowd, and he said he was very, very glad to be back. And let's be quite honest, right? If you are someone who used to go out every day, if you're someone who would always, go out, have fun, meet your friends, be at the club dancing and having fun, then obviously you would be very excited to get back to that, especially if you haven't been able to go to a club for 506 days, right? Obviously, who wouldn't be? So he said that, it's been a long wait, but he'll be out till closing. All right. That's what he had to say. And at Polo Lounge, which actually happens to be an LGBTQ inclusive club, inclusive club. There was this guy called Luke Dunismere, who actually is from Strathpungo, and he said that he was eager to get back, and he has been night clubbing since he was 15. All right. So, he's been night clubbing for, I guess, 3 years. You can't really say four because we lost the past year to the pandemic. Okay. So, he said that he's been night clubbing as well. And he said his next few weeks, he's just going to be busy. All right. And I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm very, very excited for all of these people who are going to get back to their lives. However, I'm also very concerned because even though, people are trying to get back to their lives, even though people are trying to, go out every night and make sure that they're trying to enjoy themselves and catch up on all of that lost fun, it's actually a bit scary because the pandemic is still there right now. What Luke actually said was that he's going to be out every night, and he asked us to wait because we will be seeing his face everywhere every day. All right, and that's just the kind of positivity that he had. But the truth is, sometimes that kind of positivity might not always be helpful, if you know what I mean. All right, so these rules and whatnot, initially there was actually a lot of confusion confusion because as the Scottish government said something and it wasn't really too clear, right? But the Scottish government actually clarified that masks would not have to be worn when they're dancing or they're drinking. All right. So that is what is happening. And also, Ms. Sturgeon actually warned or rather urged the public to continue to take sensible precautions despite many of the legal coronavirus rules being lifted. All right. Because a total of 3,323,466 Scots have actually been fully vaccinated, while, about 4,030,000 have actually received at least one dose. All right. So in terms of, making sure everyone's safe and whatnot, they are taking the correct steps. So make sure you stay tuned because we're going to head into a small break. And after that, we will be back to keep talking more about this. But until then, make sure you stay tuned.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow.